Hello everyone, this is Dr. R. Lakshmi, Faculty of Mathematics. In this lecture, I would like to explain you about the generating functions, the relation between the power series and the generating functions, then the principle of inclusion and exclusion and its applications. Let us first see what is a generating function, how we can represent a sequence by a generating function, how can the counting problems be solved using generating function, and how the recurrence relations can be solved by using the generating functions. Right? Now let us see what is a generating function first. Suppose there is an infinite series with the terms a0, a1, a2, so on, ak, so on, of all real numbers. Then the sum corresponding to these terms of the sequence can be written as a0 plus a1 into x plus a2 into x square and so on plus ak into x power k plus so on. This infinite sum called power series, also called as, found by using the different terms of the infinite sequence, is known as the generating function for the given infinite sequence. In summation, it can be written summation ak x power k for k equal to 0 to infinity. In symbolic form, we write it as g of x, capital G of x. Sometimes this generating function can also be called the ordinary generating function of the sequence ak. Let us see the examples. Suppose the sequence with nth term ak is equal to 3. Then we have g of x is equal to summation 3 into x power k for k equal to 0 to infinity. When we expand the summation, we will be knowing in particular what is the form of the generating function. When ak is equal to k plus 1, the corresponding generating function is g of x equal to summation k plus 1 into x power k for k equal to 0 to infinity. Similarly, when ak is 2 power k, generating function is summation 2 power k x power k for k equal to 0 to infinity. When each of the summations are expanded from k equal to 0, 1 to so on to infinity, whatever the function which results in a power series, writing the closed form of it, will represent the corresponding generating function g of x for the given sequence. Now, let us consider a finite sequence. Suppose we are given a0, a1, a2, so on, an, finite number of real numbers. Then, as usual, as we did in the previous case of infinite sequence, the generating function can now be written g of x equal to a0 plus a1x plus a2x square and so on plus an x power n. This is not a special case. When we add to this an x power n, like an plus 1, taking 0 into x power n plus 1, adding infinite zeros to the right of the an x power n, this g of x can be reduced to the generating function of the infinite sequence. And then we consider it as usual. We denote it by, represent by g of x. Suppose we are given the sequence, finite sequence, a0 1, a1 1, a2 1, a3 1, a4 1, a5 1, a finite sequence. When we write the power series corresponding g of x, we can write it as 1 plus 1 into x plus 1 into x square plus 1 into x cube plus 1 into x power 4 plus 1 into x power 5. This is clearly a geometric series with the first term a1 a equal to 1 and common ratio x. So according to the geometric series sum of the terms of a geometric series, this is written as a into 1 minus r power n by 1 minus r. Considering x is not equal to 1 and mod x less than 1, we can write for a equal to 1 and the common ratio x for n equal to 6, total 6 terms in the geometric terms. The total is equal to 1 minus x power 6 by 1 minus x. The same when we write using in terms of the geometric function, taking the given finite sequence as infinite sequence, adding zeros at the end, we have the corresponding generating function equal to 1 by 1 minus x, where mod x is less than 1, right? This is the generating function for the finite sequence, and this is the generating function for the infinite sequence. So this is how we can represent either a finite sequence or an infinite sequence by the corresponding generating function expressions. Now let us see the type of questions that we may expect while representing sequences as generating functions. We will be given ak and to find g of x. What we do is, suppose we have given m is a positive integer and ak equal to c of m comma k. For k equal to 0, 1 to so on m, we write the corresponding power series expansion, which is the generating function corresponding to the terms a0, a1, so on am generated from given ak. Sometimes the question may be given like this. They may be given a sequence of integers directly, like a0 equal to, a1 equal to, and so on. We will be asked to find g of x. Then directly for getting g of x, we can put all the given sequence of integers in the formula sigma ak x power k for k equal to 0 to infinity. Sometimes the problem will be with given g of x and we need to find the sequence of integers. For example, suppose a generating function of the sequence is given by, x square plus 1 power 8. The problem is to find the sequence. What we have to do is, first we have to expand this x square plus 1 power 8, x square plus 1 power 3 by binomial theorem expansion, and later by identifying its coefficients. One by one we write the terms of the sequence, and that represent the required sequence for which the generating function is given. Now let us see how the counting problems can be solved using generating functions. There are three models of counting problems we can consider, which can be solved easily by using generating functions rather than by using recurrence relations. Suppose we have to count the number of combinations of various types. Generating functions is much more useful. Suppose we need to count the R combinations from a set with n elements when repetition is allowed and additional constraints may exist. In this case also, the generating functions are used. One of the other cases where we use the generating functions is to count the solutions to count the solutions of the equations like e1 plus e2 and so on plus en equal to c, where c is a constant, e is a non-negative integer that may subject to the specified constraint. In these three kind of counting problems, the generating functions give the solution very simply. Now let us see the example. This is to count the number of solutions. Question is, find the number of solutions of e1 plus e2 plus e3 equal to 17, where e1, e2, e3 are non-negative integers with 2 less than or equal to e1 less than or equal to 5, e2 between 3 to 6 and e3 between 4 and 7. Now, in order to get e1 plus e2 plus e3 equal to 17, we write the expression as x power e1 into x power e2 plus x power e3 equal to 17. The given equation is written equivalently in terms of x power e1 plus e2 plus e3 equal to 17. Both are equivalent. So, the number of solutions with the indicated constraints is now the coefficient of x power 17 in the expansion of x square plus x cube plus x power 4 plus x power 5. This term is the generating function corresponding to the first constraint 2 less than or equal to e1 less than or equal to 5. Similarly, writing the generating functions corresponding to the two other constraints corresponding to non-negative integers e2 and e3, we have the other two parts here. When we multiply the three parts and we collect the coefficient of x power 17, we get the coefficient is equal to 3. So we say that there are total 3 possible solutions for the given integral equation. This is how the counting problem for getting the number of solutions can be easily solved by the generating functions. In this problem, let us see in how many different ways can 8 identical cookies be distributed among 3 distinct children if each child receives at least 2 cookies and no more than 4 cookies. This is again a counting problem, finding of R combinations from the various given type of objects. To solve this one using generating functions, let us denote E1. Let us consider E1 to represent child 1's cookies, E2 to represent child 2's cookies, and E3 to represent third child cookies. Now, each child receive at least 2 cookies and no more than 4 cookies is being given, we can have the corresponding constraints. E1, E2, E3, all the 3 from 2 up to 4. Now 8 cookies to be distributed among 3 children. So we can have the corresponding equation E1 plus E2 plus E3 equal to 8. Transforming it in the power form, we have x power E1 plus E2 plus E3 is x power 8. Now to calculate that, we need to get the coefficient of x power 8 from the generating function, which is the product of the generating functions of the 3 given integers E1, E2, E3, which we have taken to represent the 3 children. And when we calculate the generating function when we consider the generating function, it is x square plus x cube plus x power 4 the whole power 3. Each base, each x square plus x cube plus x power 4 being the generating function to represent the child 1, child 2 and the child 3. Now from this generating function, clearly it can be observed that the coefficient of x power 8 is 6. So there are total 6 possible solutions. There are 6 possible ways in which the 8 cookies can be distributed among 3 children so that each child receive not less than 2 and not more than 4 cookies. Now let us see how the recurrence relations can be solved using the generating functions. Right? There is a systematic procedure here. First we denote g of x as sigma ak x for k equal to 0 to infinity. When this g of x is multiplied by x, we can have the corresponding expression summation a k minus 1 x power k for k equal to 1 to infinity. Similarly, we can write for x square g of x sigma a k minus 2 x power k for k equal to 2 to infinity. These are the generating functions and their combination terms we consider in the first step. In the second step, we change using the previous terms the sequence given, the terms of the given recurrence relation terms by replacing each ak with the corresponding g of x. In the next step, we solve for g of x. Then we replace g of x with the corresponding sequence. So final sequence whichever we get after replacing g of x will form the solution for the given recurrence relation. Let us consider an example. We are given the recurrence relation ak equal to 3 into ak minus 1. We replace each ak and ak minus 1 with the corresponding generating function. So ak replaced by g of x, ak minus 1 replaced by x into g of x. Then the corresponding summations has been taken, and when we simplify the expression for g of x, we got g of x equal to 2 by 1 minus 3x. Again converting back this g of x to the summation, we have got summation 2 into 3 power k x power k for k equal to 0 to infinity. Because we have 1 by 1 minus ax is sigma ak x power k for k 0 to infinity. Consequently, we can write for the sequence ak of g of x as 2 into 3 power k. So here in this problem, ak equal to 2 into 3 power k form the solution for the given recurrence relation. Now let us consider what is the principle of inclusion exclusion and how can the counting problems be solved. Suppose we want to count the number of elements in the union of more than two sets. Let us see how the principle is used. The corresponding formula we can use to count the number of elements in the union of the more than two sets is, this is the generalization given here. For case of two sets, it is mod A union B equal to mod A plus mod B minus modulus of A intersection B. This can be extended to 3 sets or 4 sets or any number of sets. Now using this, let us have a problem. Suppose there are 1807 freshmen at your school. Of these, 453 are taking a course in computer science, 567 course in mathematics, 299 course in computer science. How many not taking course either in computer science or in mathematics? Let us denote A by the set of freshmen taking course in computer science, B by the set of freshmen taking course in mathematics. Then clearly from the given problem, the number of students in the set A denoted by mod A is 453, similarly mod B 567, and from AB sets, mod A intersection B is 299 as given in the problem. Now, the number of freshmen taking a course either in computer science or mathematics, which is represented by the modulus of A union B, is mod A plus mod B minus mod of A intersection B. Substituting the known values, we get the number 721. Therefore, when we subtract from 1807 the total freshmen, when we subtract from total freshmen 1807, the students 721 taking course either in computer science or mathematics, we got 1086 freshmen not taking a course either in computer science or in mathematics. Now let us see the other problem, similar other such problem. Now let us see the applications of inclusion and exclusion in solving various other counting problems. Here is given the other form of the alternate form of the inclusion exclusion in terms of the properties that the elements of a set possess. Right? Let us consider an example. How many solutions does x1 plus x2 plus x3 equal to 11 have, where x1, x2, x3 are non-negative integers with x1 less than or equal to 3, x2 less than or equal to 4 and x3 less than or equal to 6. We suppose that the solution have the property P1 if x1 greater than 3, P2 if x2 greater than 4, P3 if x3 greater than 6. Now the required number of solutions satisfying the given inequalities is given by the alternate form of the inclusion principle is n of P1 dash, P2 dash, P3 dash, the number of elements in the set not satisfying the properties P1, P2, P3 equal to n minus n of P1 minus n of P2 minus n of P3 plus n of P1, P2 plus n of P2, P3 plus n of P1, P3 minus n of P1, P2, P3. Calculating the corresponding values of n of P1 and so on, we have n equal to the number of solutions. C of 3 plus 11 minus 1 comma 11 using the formula C of n plus r minus 1 comma r, which is the value we get 78. Similarly, calculating all the other number of solutions with properties given P1, P2, P3, their combinations, and substituting in the formula, we have got the solution as total 21. Therefore, the number of solutions satisfying the given inequalities is equal to 6. Now let us consider the other problem known as the sieve of Eratosthenes. It is to find the number of primes not exceeding a specified positive integer. Again, this is done by using the same property. Now let us see how to get the number of onto functions using the concept of generating functions. Using the concept of inclusion and exclusion. Let mn be positive integers with m greater than or equal to n. Then there are n power m minus c of n1, n minus 1 power m plus c of n comma 2 into n minus 2 power m minus so on plus minus 1 power n minus 1 into c of n comma n minus 1 into 1 power m onto functions will be there from the set of m elements to the set of n elements. Using this formula, the number of onto functions between any two sets from the set of m elements to the set of n elements can be easily calculated. This we got from the principle of inclusion and exclusion. Right? Similarly, the number of de-arrangements can also be calculated using the same principle. The rule for getting the de-arrangements is, before getting the rule, let us see what is the de-arrangement. There is a permutation of objects that leaves no object in its original position. Suppose 21453 is a number, is one of the permutation of the given 5 numbers. It is the de-arrangement of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because no number left in its original position. Similarly, we can have other de-arrangement as 5, 4, 2, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 or 2, 1, 5, 3, 4. And we can clearly observe that 2, 1, 5, 4, 3 is not a de-arrangement of the same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because in this 4, the place of 4 is fixed. Its place does not change. So, if no number left in its original position and we have a permutation of the given number, such permutation is called de-arrangement. To find the number of de-arrangement of the set with n elements, we use the formula. This we got by the application of inclusion-exclusion principle. D of n is equal to the number of de-arrangements, dn equal to n factorial into 1 minus 1 by 1 factorial plus 1 by 2 factorial and so on plus minus 1 for n into 1 by n factorial. Therefore, the probability of de-arrangements is. So, in fact, by using the principle of inclusion and exclusion, we can solve the de-arrangement problems in finding the probability of de-arrangements, which is given by dn by n factorial. Thank you all for giving me this opportunity. Thanks, Anand.